Toda. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and Toda Rabah for tuning in and supporting Shema Yisrael. Tonight, first and foremost, I want to give all due respect and praise unto the Most High of all things, the Master of the universe, Ha Elohim. Secondly, I'd like to give respect to the founder and spiritual leader of Shema Yisrael. I'd like to give respect to the founder and spiritual leader of Shema Yisrael, Nasi Hagadol Zippor ben Zavulun. Second in command, Prince Nathanael ben Nasi Hagadol ben Zippor ben Zavulun, and Prince Nathanael ben Yisrael, leader of SOG. I would also like to give respect to my spiritual leader and founder of Shomrei HaTorah and one of the leaders of Goshen, Nasi Yashuvel ben Nasi Hagadol Zippor ben Zavulun, and spiritual leader of Goshen, Nasi Rav Zuridan ben Mishael Hagadol ben Yisrael, and also one of my spiritual leaders, Prince Kazaradar ben Yisrael. I bid you all in the tongue of my forefathers, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Lakem. We'll begin with our prayers. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
First and foremost, I want to ask the Most High for his permission to come before him. Total Most High for waking us up this morning. Total Most High for your mercy, your love, your protection, your guidance. Most High, I ask that you continue to be with us as we walk to and fro. Most High, I thank you for this Shabbat day, for the opportunity to do Erev Shabbat. And I thank you for allowing all those that are in the watching on YouTube or in the ear sight to hear and watch and understand my lesson. I ask that you guide my tongue, guide my heart, guide my mind. I also ask that you be with my daughter Ezekiel as she reads along with me tonight. I want to give thanks to you for all things and everything. Total Most High, for your mercy endure forever. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay, so first we're going to, Ezekiel will read Psalms 92. She's going to go to it and we'll read along. Go ahead, Ezekiel.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
A song for the Sabbath day. It is a good to praise the Lord, to sing hymn to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-string harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, O Lord. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great you are, your works, O Lord. How very subtle your designs. A brutish man cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Though all the wicked spread like grass, though all the evildoers blossom, it is only that they may be destroyed forever. But you are exalted, O Lord, for all time. Surely your enemies, O Lord, surely your enemies perish. All evildoers are scattered. You raise my horn high like that of a wild ox. I am soaked in freshening oil. I shall see the defeat of my watchful foes. Hear of the downfall of the wicked who beset me. The righteous blossom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. planted in the house of the Lord. They flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that the Lord is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay, now we're going to go to Psalms 125. Okay, if everyone reads along.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
A song of ascents. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion. They cannot be moved, enduring forever. Jerusalem, hills enfolded, and the Lord enfolds his people, now and forever. The scepter of the wicked shall never rest upon the land allotted to the righteous. The righteous not set their hand to wrongdoing. Do good, O Lord, to the good, to the upright in heart, but those who in their crookedness act corruptly. Let the Lord make them go the way of the evildoers. May it be well with Israel. When the Lord restores.
Hallelujah. Now we're going to go to Exodus 25. Exodus chapter 20, verse 5.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
You shall not bow down to them or serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am an impassioned God, visiting the guilt of the parents upon the children, upon the third and upon the fourth generation of those who reject me, but showing kindness to the 1,000th generation of those who love me and keep my commandments. Shall not swear falsely by the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not clear one who swears falsely by his name. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of the Lord your God. You shall not do any work, your son or daughter, you male or female slave, or your cattle, or the stranger who is within your settlements. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and sea, and all that is in them, and he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that you may long endure on the land that the Lord your God assigning to you.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Last, we're going to read Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Deuteronomy. Please read along, everyone.
Chapter 6. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on the gates. When the Lord your God brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign you great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, whom cisterns that you did not hoe, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you don't not forget the Lord who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Revere only the Lord your God and worship him alone and swear only by his name. Do not follow other gods, any gods of the peoples about you. For the Lord your God in your midst is an impassioned God. Lest the anger of the Lord your God blaze forth against you, and he wipe you off the face of the earth. Do not try the Lord your God as you did at Massah, but be sure to keep the commandments, decrees, and laws that the Lord your God has enjoined upon you. Do what is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may go well with you, and that you may be able to possess the good land
So, the good land that which the Most High sware unto thy fathers, to cast out all thy enemies from before thee, as Elohim has spoken. Hallelujah. So tonight, I'm going to be teaching or speaking on the Ten Commandments. As I started to put together my lesson for tonight, I researched and, just to get a little more deeper into the Ten Commandments and, how we're supposed to do them and follow them righteously. And I came across different history that I would like to share with you all first before I go into as part of my lesson. First, I'm going to read a passage. Give me 1 second. So as I read this, I will also do my best to break it down through just my studies and my understanding and research to better understand what this passage is speaking on. Words. Devarim is an expression that is broader than commandments. Devarim, as we know, is a Hebrew word. It has two meanings: to speak, devar, to speak, or nothing, and devarim, things. So in this particular passage, devarim, things, he's speaking of the 10 things, or as it says, an expression that is broader than commandments, the 10 commandments. The number 10 is applied to these words in Exodus 34:28, Deuteronomy 4:13, and 10:4. And the term Ashrei HaDevarim occurs as late as the 2nd century CE. The current Hebrew expression for 10 words or 10 commandments is Asherot Devarot. Is first found in the Talmud. The word Devarim, of course, is the masculine, and Devarot is feminine. I'm not sure why in the Torah it's masculine that we see more, and in Talmud it's feminine. So as I continue reading, I came upon words that I didn't clearly understand, so I researched it a little more. And the history that it showed me about our ancestors and the ways that we clearly went against the Most High or transgressed against Him. And what I'm about to read right now is the terminology that I'm about to read, and the people or that I'm about to read are pre-law, like before the law was brought to us, but in the times of Abraham. So Anoki has the same meaning as the more frequent Ani. Anoki Ani means I am. It occurs especially in several stories of Revelation with Abraham, Genesis 15:1, Isaac, Genesis 26:24, Jacob, Genesis 31:13, and Moses, Exodus 3:6. Anoki is the Hebrew version of a first-person pronoun common to both Semitic and Hamitic languages. Some of these Hamitic languages, or Semitic and Hamitic languages, are Akkadian, Ugaric, and Egyptian. I brought that up because this is what the Jewish people are saying, that, you know, basically the Most High is using Akkadian to speak with us, because they say Anoki is an Akkadian terminology. The rabbis intuitively took it to be of possible Egyptian derivation, speculating that the Most High addressed them to begin with in a language they knew well. I found that to be a little interesting, because if in this one passage he only uses one word that's Akkadian, but everything else, if he's speaking in Hebrew, why would he be speaking in a language that is different from us, his people, to speak to the Jewish people in Akkadian? So it kind of made me question, what is the intent that the Jewish people have in the Talmud in teaching us, or not teaching us, but in placing that information in there to take us away from Torah or the Most High initially, and who he was speaking to, which is us, his people, in the Hebrew language, in the Hebrew tongue. The next, I'm going to read more about Ani, and how that word was found in different, like I said, in pre-law, used by different men who were not necessarily who were not Hebrew, and they, you know, were revered as gods of their time. I am the Lord. The introductory phrase resembles ancient Near Eastern preambles. For instance, Hammurabi the shepherd, called by Enlil, am I, or I am Misha, son of Chemosh, king of Moab, the Dibonite. So to give a little history on who Hammurabi and Misha, son of Chemosh, king of Moab, are, I'm just going to give a brief history on those two men. So Hammurabi was the 6th king in the first Babylonian dynasty. He reigned from 1792 to 1750. During his ruling, he was over almost all of the Mesopotamia. He also introduced the Code of Hammurabi, which he claimed to have received from Shaman, the Babylonian deity of justice. The Code of Hammurabi and the laws of Moshe in the Torah contain numerous similarities which are said to be due to background and oral tradition. I brought that out to where I took it as an understanding of more of when it said background and oral tradition, it would be more of what, because like I said, it was pre-law, so it would be more of things that were spoken instead of written and things that were practiced. And because of the area where everyone was in the East, it was more common for a lot of things to be similar or, alike in that way when it comes to law or how a sentence is set forth in that manner. But of course, the laws of Moshe came from the Most High, so those are the laws that we follow. And also in the Hammurabi laws, the term Anoki could be found, and that's where the Talmud is saying that Anoki, they're trying to say, has to do more with just the Creator, but people using that terminology to identify themselves as the Lord. Also, Hammurabi was such a powerful man that he was seen as a god to many, like a deity to many, and he can still be found in the law books of today. So if you become a lawyer and you're in school, you're going to read the history of Hammurabi and his code. The Hammurabi code was actually where the whole presumption innocent before presuming guilty came from. He introduced that. So I also read in that passage about Misha, son of the deity Chemosh, and not literally his son by birth, but by claim, because Chemosh was a mighty deity in his time. So Misha, who also went by the title Anoki, he was king of Moab in the city of Dibon, and he vowed unto his father to oppress the Moabites. And we know the Moabites are the sons of Lot. He was also a deity to the Moabites. And as we have seen, our ancestors have been worshiping and calling upon others in the Most High's stead for centuries. And it has been shown to us many times through various punishments and curses given to us by the true and living power, High Elohim, that that's not, what we're supposed to do. We are only supposed to call upon the Most High at all times. There's no other power like Hashem at all. I'm going to read a little more of the passage before I go into completing my lesson. The Most High states, who brought you out from, who brought you? God's claim on Israel is its redeemer, not as creator. The freedom he had brought the people is the necessary foundation for the covenant. So right there, what I understood it is they're trying to say that the Most High is only claiming he did this, but we know that the Most High did this. The Most High states he is the one who gave us freedom. He showed us with Moses, when he told Moses to tell Pharaoh, let his people go, he showed us through the curses that he plagued upon the Egyptians and how we were right there near them and we did not get affected by those plagues. There's no other gods. The second commandment establishing the singularity of Yod He Vav He, although the addition beside me appears to weaken the main statement, in Genesis, other deities are not prohibited, leading to the supposition that monotheism's beginning are to be connected with Moshe. Ibn Ezra warns that this commandment must not be transgressed even in one's thought. So we know that one of the main commandments is there's no other power besides our power. We're not to reverence any other power. We can thank, one another. We can thank our leaders. We can thank our parents, but they're not above the Most High by no means. Point 4, sculptured image. With the intent to adore it as a real or surrogate god, there is no prohibition here of the plastic arts as such, else verse 5 would be unnecessary. So, and that because for a long time, I'm just going to veer off a little bit. For a long time, not for a long time, but in various occasions, I was taught that images, no matter what it was against the law. And reading further for myself, I found that images that are carved, that are made in the likeness of the Most High, or in the heavens above and the earth beneath, that are made to revere as deities, that is prohibited. The Most High clearly states those things are prohibited. We are not to make anything in his likeness, anything in the likeness of the heavens or the earth beneath, and use it as a way to bow down to, give reverence to, hold in a high stance. We can't make an image, like if we have a statue of an elephant in our house, we can't place it above and then pray to that image. So when we say, no images, it's made in that image to be used as a way to observe or call upon that image as a deity or as your God. So I found that interesting because for a little while I didn't have pictures and statues, but once I started researching more, I realized that it wasn't about the image or the statue. It was more about me and what I put into that image or what I put into that statue. And if it's like a teddy bear, it's like a bear, I know that bear is not God. I'm not going to ever call it that. So, with my understanding and more research, I realized it's okay to have those things as long as I'm not placing it on an altar and bowing down to it and bringing it gifts and things like that. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm trying to work through that. So I kind of just put together all my last 3 points in this passage together. So now I'm going to go further into my lesson on just my personal views and my personal understanding of the 10 Commandments and, how we observe them, how we keep them, and how to better ourselves in doing them. And then when I say ourselves, I include myself because I'm not perfect. I'm nowhere near it. I'm still learning and striving to be great before the Most High. So I'm posing my lesson in question form. I am going to answer them, but it's for all of us to be able to answer them. So, if you feel comfortable in writing down the question, I'll do my best to read it slow, and we can go from there. So the first one is, how are we to keep the commandment that Ha Elohim has set before us? That answer appears to be easy: to do them righteously with love, respect, and honor unto him and him alone. We, and I say we because I include myself, we're all guilty of the desire to do just that. But are we? Are we really striving to do just that? Are we really striving to say we love the Most High and we are showing him daily? I can't say I purposely get up and dishonor him, but we do daily with our talk, our walk, our attitudes amongst one another, our lack of gratitude for his blessings. As we look around, like we look around in our house right now, it's the Shabbat. Like, is our house presentable that because the Most High walks amongst us. Like, if we call on him, that means he's here. He's here, period. But when we call on him, we're inviting him into our space for a purpose. And are we inviting him into a place of cleanliness, or are we inviting him to a place of trash? Do we honor the Most High in a way that, you know how we rush to clean up because we have somebody important coming over, or it's the Shabbat, so we're like, oh, we have to clean up before the Shabbat comes in. But that should be something that's done every day, because the Most High is amongst us every day. Like I say, especially when you call on him. But even when you don't call on him, he's amongst you because we're his children. And he takes pride in us. So we have to take pride in him. And we have to keep ourselves and our surroundings. And not just our house, but our cars, our temples, our yards, everything. Everything that we place a hold on that is ours, we have to keep it in a place that we know the Most High is present in. Even at work, if you have a desk or a cubicle, whatever you have, make it presentable for him, so that it's clean and he's feeling like you are ready for him to come and, you know, be amongst you. So, you know, I think we have to be more in the practice of keeping our houses clean daily, not just for the company that's coming over. Oh, my mom is coming in town. Let me clean up, spruce up so she don't talk about me. Your mother, whether she talks about you or not, the Most High sees it first and foremost. So that's who we should do it for first and foremost. And then it wouldn't matter what other people see because it's already done. The second question I have is, what commandments are most important to you, and how often do you practice or are doing them wholeheartedly? So, I'm going to be honest. When I decided to do this lesson, it was a wake-up call for me to really even look deep in myself and say, am I doing these laws? Like, am I keeping these commandments wholeheartedly? Am I really deep down saying to myself, Madiah, did you really just go out the house without your fringes? Did you really just wake up and not pay reference to the Most High first and foremost? These are questions that we really have to look into ourselves and say, are we truly wholeheartedly, are we truly wholeheartedly keeping the commandments? I would say that if we're not, or if I'm not, I'm a hypocrite. You know, I'm a fraud to calling myself a Hebrew Israelite woman, a daughter of Zion, a Eshet Kayil. Like, we can't hold these titles or call ourselves by these titles, but not truly keep the Most High's law wholeheartedly. So we have to look deeper into that. So I know that there are ways that I believe that I'm keeping it. I'm practicing to keep it more honestly within myself and amongst my household, so that my children can also, you know, see this practice and become a part of, and allow that to become a part of their daily practice. I praise no other power but Hashem. There's no other power besides him. I say tefillah 3 times a day. I get up at 5 a.m., say my tefillah in the afternoon and in the evening before I lay down to rest. It doesn't matter where I am in the afternoon, I'm saying my tefillah. If I have to stop and just acknowledge him briefly, I have to give that reverence because at any moment anything can happen to me, and I have to know that he's with me at all times. I have to acknowledge that. Another commandment that I truly believe that I wholeheartedly desire to practice and do my best to practice is honoring thy mother and thy father, so that my days may be long, because I have children and I want to be here for a long time to raise them, to see my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and so on, if it's the Most High's will. And honoring our mother and father, you know, it's simple to say honor thy mother and father, but how are we doing this? Do we call our parents every day? Do we make sure that they have food if they're elderly? Do we go check on them? Do we help them pay bills if necessary? Or do we just sit idly by and say, oh, well, you know, that's my mother and father, they got that. You know, it's so, coming from a person who lost my mother 2.5 years ago, it's so easy, you know, or I looked in my past and found how it was easy to not call my mother every day. And I'd be like, oh, I'm going to call my mother tomorrow. I'm going to call her. And then it becomes a week. And that I found, and that's just something personal, I found I was not honoring my mother, because it's an honor to be able to call your mother and say, just shalom, Ima. I love you. I'm just checking on you. Anything you need, anything I can do for you. If it's a no, it's a no. But the fact that you asked, that you just showed your parents that, listen, I'm here. If you need anything, I got you. Because they have you. Like, even if you're grown, your parents still feel that they are over you, and they call on you and check on you. So, you know, call your parents and check on them. I know for my mother, one thing that I'm very grateful to the Most High, that he allowed me to be one of her caregivers during her illness time, you know, before she passed, because it taught me a lot about patience, love, respect, and just a whole different, it gave me a different mindset on honoring thy parent, truly, because you never think you'll be in a situation where you have to wipe your mother, wipe her face, clean her, change her clothes from being soiled, cleaning her nails, painting her nails, you know, doing her hair, things that, you know, you take for granted. So, it's a lot that we have to look deeper into when it comes to honoring our mother and our father. Beyond just the words, and beyond just saying, you know, I follow the Most High's law by doing that. We have to bring it into action. We have to actually do it. Because honestly, the commandments are to do, not to just say, not to just read every Shabbat or every day, or some people may read it once a month. However you do it, it's not to just do that. It's an action. And we have to, you know, do our best to follow through with that. And even with my father's still living. I call my father. I check up on him. I try to make sure he's good. I do whatever I can to assist him. If he has an appointment, I try to make sure I'm, if not there, on the phone, or he calls me immediately afterwards to give me the update. I have the contacts to his physicians, or, you know, just friends where I know he's going to be, and I'm going to call and be like, is my father okay, if I don't hear from him. But, you know, just those little things are just ways of honoring our father. I'm not going to tell everybody how to do it, but this is just what I do, or some of the things that I do in honoring my parents. Go get it. Go get his charger, please. One of the other things that I know we are commanded to do is to show and to be kind to the thousands of them that love High Elohim and keep his commandments. I truly believe that I strive to be a sister of conviction, righteousness, and positivity. I feel I do my best to be loving, kind unto, you know, my family, my sisterhood, my brotherhood. In times where, you know, we fall short, I do my best to be there as one that they can call upon to assist and to help. Slicker, I need the extension cord. I think it's important that we also find the time to listen to one another, because a lot of times, you know, we may be lost in this walk, and I feel like it's our duty to be able to be there with one another, to lift one another up, especially in those times when we're down. And we may not even think that the person is down, but they may reach out and just say a little something like, you know, I just need somebody to talk to today. It's important to take that time, set it aside and say, okay, I have 15 minutes, whatever you need to say. And if you need more than 15 minutes, I'll try to find more time to give you, or give them a time to say, look, sis, I can give you a call, or bro, I can give you a call later tonight if you're available. I think, you know, we just have to be mindful of being helpmates to one another. Not just man and wife as helpmates, but sisters and brothers. We're all here to help one another and to be better and to do better before the Most High. The last thing I want to, well, not the last thing I want to talk about, but the other point I want to talk about is putting his law first by remembering to do them daily and guarding them. One thing we have to understand is when we do his law, we have to do it righteously, and then we have to do it in such a way that we are guarding it. We're protecting it from anyone else that is misinterpreting it, that is trying to lead you astray, that is trying to tell you that, no, the law, you know what the law says. It clearly says what it says. But that person wants to tell you, oh, no, it says you don't have to wear your tzitzits. But it says you have to wear your tzitzits. But they'll try to say, no, it means you have to only wear your tzitzits, you know, when you going outside. But it says to wear your tzitzits at all times. So it's like the little things that we feel, that we think are gonna the little things that we may interpret differently. We have to really sit in, when we take that interpretation from ourselves or from anyone else, and say, are we guarding the Most High's laws by doing it, or are we taking it and adjusting it for ourselves and allowing someone else to be comfortable and changing it? And then we're no longer protecting the Most High's words. We're just basically saying, oh, it's okay, we can do, you know, whatever, because this person says this is his interpretation and that's how we should do it. So to me, it's very important that we not only we can hear what others, you know, have to say about what the law is, but it's our duty to do what the Most High says the law is. And if someone is showing us another way, to research that, to study it, and to say, you know what, no, that's not what the Most High says here. And to call that person or speak with that person and say, listen, as a guardian of the law, I have to speak to you about this before you go out and break the law and then you become cursed or punished. And then if I follow you, I become that. And when we do that, when it just becomes a bunch of us following, then we're all going to be cursing. How can we be a people of the Most High? How can we lead our children in that manner? Or even lead a community, lead a nation? You know, we can't be teachers. We can't be anything in that manner. So we have to be very mindful of how we guard the Most High's law. So the third question is, did you know that there are approximately 613 commandments? And if so, do you only adhere to the ones in Exodus 24-17, or do you go further and start to identify the other laws that must be observed daily, or are the ones in the Tanakh what the Creator placed there for us to take as the blueprint to be and do? With that, with just studying, I've heard that before. There's more than just the 10 Commandments. And even in Exodus 24-17, it's way more than 10 Commandments. I think we just say 10 Commandments because it's just a common thing to say. But there are so many more laws that we have to really look at, because if the Most High says, do and keep my commandments daily, that means we have to keep more than just what we read in the Tanakh. We have to go further, because if we know that there are more, then how are we observing and how are we doing those? How are we keeping those additional laws? And are we truly understanding those laws? And then how do we as a community and as a people go further in practicing those laws together? Because everybody doesn't know that there are more laws. There are 613 laws. Everybody doesn't acknowledge it. But those of us who do, how do we now come together to build further on those and become stronger in doing all of His laws correctly? What I found in my studies with the 613 laws is that 248 of them are positive, the ones that are do's, and 365 are negatives, or don'ts. It's like a list. And I found this on the site of Kabbalah.org. So you can look it up yourselves to discern for yourselves, because that's what we're supposed to do. So the Most High gave us a blueprint, and basically we have to start utilizing that blueprint to become better. We often, some of us, I won't say all of us, we often, want to just say we're cursed. But if we really truly believe we're cursed, then why are you repeating the same things that your ancestors did? If you believe that you're a cursed people, why would you continue to stay in the same stead for years? And you're reading this, but you're not, it's like you're seeing it, but you're not really seeing it. So in that manner, we have to get out of the mindset of we're a cursed people. If you read past that passage, the Most High talks about a lot more than just us being cursed. There's blessings that He has bestowed upon us. And in order to attain those blessings, in order to even feel those blessings, we have to open our eyes further than the negative of what we allow ourselves to dwell in. Sometimes it's comfortable for people to sit in that, because then they're not holding themselves or even others accountable to be better and to do better. And even accountable, they're not holding themselves accountable to the Most High. They just feel like, hey, well, you said this, so this is what I am. But the Most High gave us a whole lot more than that. So within that blueprint, in the Tanakh, the blueprint, He gave us so much, and we have to learn how to utilize that. Like, one thing here in Goshen that we're striving to do daily is utilize that blueprint. And that's beyond just reading it to ourselves. It's doing by going amongst this land that the Most High has blessed us with once again, to nurture it, to cultivate it, so that we can have a place for our people to come, a place of resources, a place of just refuge. You know, it's like one thing I say to myself and I've said outwardly to others is that the land that we're on right now, this 140 acres at one point was lived on by slaves. Not just slaves that were field slaves, house slaves. It was also lived by slaves that rebelled. So we have a balance here of we're on a land that our people shed blood, tears, mothers had babies under force, mothers were torn from their husbands, wives were torn from their husbands, torn from their babies, families just ripped apart. But we have acquired this land back. And so one thing I say is our duty to, as Hebrew Israelites, to guard this land. And by guarding this land, that means we are practicing the Most High's laws on this land daily. We are putting into work, action, what we say, what we read daily. We are out here cultivating. We are teaching our children. We are showing them that the Most High said this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to rise up every day. We're supposed to go out and put our hands in the dirt. We're supposed to fill the earth. We're supposed to grow our own foods so that we can eat of that. The food that we eat out there is not grown by us. It's grown, some in buildings, GMO. Some of it's grown in land, but then it's sprayed with all type of chemicals. So it shouldn't be even edible. And we do it. We eat it. I'm not even going to say I don't eat it. I do. I still find myself eating of it because it's convenient. But we got to find a way to step away from the convenience of things and understand and come back to the root of it and acknowledge that the Most High has blessed us with something very prominent, and we have to be appreciative of what he gave us. And that includes making sure this land is clean daily, that we go out and we make reference to the Most High, and we just say Todah Yah for his blessing every day. I feel like I'm just going on, but so the final thing I wanted to talk about is honoring the Most High in totality. I'm going to stick to the consumption of halal food and kind of tie it into how we are dishonoring the Most High. So the definition of halal is an Arabic word meaning permissible food according to Islamic law, which means the meat must be slaughtered and blessed unto the power by their slaughterer, who's a man, by his hand. So if y'all didn't get that, halal meat is to be slaughtered and blessed unto their power. That alone should tell us we shouldn't eat halal meat, because it's being blessed and slaughtered unto their power, unto their deity, meaning they are giving full 100% reverence of that meat to their power. And then when we consume it, which the Most High told us not to consume food from other nations, because one, it'll start messing with our mind. It'll start us having to what? Want to do? Give reverence to their power, to other powers, to other deities. Why? Because they put that in the food. They say you are what you eat. So if you're eating meat that is prayed over unto another power, what does that become inside of you? You're eating this meat, and all those prayers, that deity spirit is in you now. But you calling yourself a Hebrew, and you saying you believe in the Most High, and believe me, I've been guilty of it. I grew up Muslim, so I ate halal food. But when I came into this way of life, I still ate halal food. But now that I have a clear understanding of what it is they're doing, why they're doing it, no, I can't eat halal food any longer. And I wanted to bring it out more, not to point fingers at any of us, because we all, you know, have something that we do that that we need to work on. But we have to find a way as his people to grow our own animals, slaughter them, and eat right. I know, you know, for some it's easy. Halal food is easier to get because at least, you know, we know, hey, it didn't die of itself. But we're eating an animal that was given, prayed unto for their power. So it's like we break one law to observe another law? Or do we do our best to not break any laws, do our best to slaughter our own meat, or to, you know, go talk to if you were in a Jewish area, find a Jewish community or a kosher market or butcher, and ask the questions, the pertinent questions, so that you can eat that meat. But I think we just have to do our due diligence to not do things out of convenience, but to do things that are reverencing the Most High first and foremost. I also want to, you know, acknowledge that I read that article. It's in the Telegraph, and it was written by Edward Myrick on January 3rd, 2015. And one thing we're doing, mostly when we eat halal, is we're breaking the Most High's law. By giving reverence to another deity. And he said that's one of his first commandments is to give no other deity his power, to reverence him and him alone. So I hope that I was clear in my message and I didn't confuse anyone. I pray that, you know, we all do our best to become better women, men, children of the Most High, and sisters and brothers to one another, better wives to our husbands, husbands to our wives, better children to our parents, no matter what age you are, and just better human beings as a whole to the Most High, first and foremost. Because if we can't be better unto him, then we can't be better to anyone else, or not even to ourselves, to no one. So I would like to say Toda Yah for the opportunity to come before you all. I am so humbled as a daughter of Zion who's still in learning, to be able to bring this lesson, and I accept, you know, all criticisms and corrections if where it's needed. And I just want to thank Shema Yisrael once again for opening up this opportunity for us sisters to be able to have a mouthpiece, I guess you could say, a place where we can speak and share our knowledge and our understanding of what we've been able to attain from this law and living in this life. I want to thank my daughter Ezekiel, who is 9 years old, who read with us today. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. And I apologize if it took a little longer. And everyone have a blessed Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.